to the Dropping Dimes podcast. And here's your host, J.I. Dimes.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Dropping Dimes podcast, presented by Yo and Yes to Love and Inspire. Also presented by Snuggle Moments BH. The snuggle is real. So for today's episode, we'll be talking about the NBA Draft 2020. That is just approximately around a little over 2 weeks from now. We'll be talking about the potential lottery picks, some possible steals of the draft, and some scenarios as well. So that is what's up for today's episode. Okay, so before we start our episode, again, the reason why I haven't been able to release an episode these past few days was because of the typhoon. And again, we're praying for everyone who were victimized by the super typhoon Rolly. I am praying most especially for the people from Catanduanes. I hope we can help them be heard because they really badly need help. Okay, so it wasn't because according to Shilly Santa Rosa, it wasn't so much that they were resilient, it's just that they were actually practically helpless. So, I actually tweeted about this. Hashtag nasaan ang Catanduanes and hashtag RollyPH. Thank you for those who retweeted and also liked the tweet. But more than anything else, I hope we can, help these people be heard, especially because of the lack of news broadcasts in the area. So let's help them. Let's help them out in whatever way we can so that people will be aware that they need help. Okay, and of course, prayers are up for everyone who was victimized by the typhoon. And I hope, it's really been a tough year. But I hope there are better days to come. So again, we continue praying for everyone. And of course, I hope people will, last week Mindoro got hit hard, and then this week Catanduanes. So for anyone who's listening, I hope you can also help in spreading the word that they really need help. So it's now time to talk about the NBA draft, the upcoming 2020 NBA draft. So of course, I'm not just gonna be getting my takes from just my own opinions, right? Of course, I need to have some basis as well. So I need to also get the views of the experts like Sam Quinn and Colin Henninger from CBS. They've been really very reliable when it comes to the draft. So they describe the 2020 draft as, well, it's really relatively regarded as a weak draft. Weak in a sense that there is really no standout potential franchise player that can turn the franchise around immediately. There's none in the draft. But of course, that's also what they said about, let's say, the 2013 draft that turned out to have a guy named Giannis Antetokounmpo, who turned out to be a two-time MVP. Though it took time, it wasn't like Giannis took over from the get-go, but then he did develop into not just a franchise player, but into one of the best players, if not the best player in the game right now. Okay, so according to CBS, they described this, the upcoming draft, as a class filled with high floor, long-term starters at almost every position, but then few of them will materially change a franchise's fortunes. But then many will be able to contribute to winning at some point in their career. They just need, of course, to land with the right team. The lack of stars in this year's crop makes it far likelier than usual. More teams than ever are going to draft based on need without the option to go big game hunting as the draft approaches. Okay, so those are the takes of CBS. Now let's go to the mock draft and see who are like the players who are expected to go into the lottery. So let's start first with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are actually, unless they end up trading the pick, but for the experts from CBS, this one was by Kyle Boone on his latest mock draft. He still feels that LaMelo Ball, in spite of all the the so-called, well, I don't know if it's really true that he's not having good interviews as of the moment. We don't really know if that's true or people are just trying to stir it up. But then, even though LaMelo Ball is not like the consensus number one, he still has the biggest star potential among all the prospects. So yes, the brother of Lonzo might actually surpass him. The younger brother, who used to be like 5'6", 5'7", when he played freshman ball, right? And then he just grew taller and taller. He's actually listed at 6'6", but he actually looks taller than that. He's like 6'7" or 6'8". Right? Talent-wise, potential-wise, the guy has arguably the biggest star potential. And then if the next pick will be the second pick, and this is for the Golden State Warriors, they're planning, well, according to the mock draft, if ever they do keep the pick, okay, they will most likely take Anthony Edwards, the very, very athletic shot maker, wing player. And then, though they don't see like Anthony Edwards being the star player or the number one guy on the team, but he can be a championship caliber core player type, right? Um, of course, the question marks would be the 29.4% 3-point shooting in college. Georgia also didn't win a lot of games. But again, confidence wise, he said he's like D Wade, D Wade, the class act that he is, even endorsed this kid as the number one pick in the draft. So we'll see. He does have to sharpen his decision making, but I think it would also help him if he goes to a team like the Warriors, who have plenty of veterans who can help him out, and then he can also play winning basketball immediately. And then, so if that happens, Charlotte picking third. Okay, they're projected to select James Wiseman. 7'1", 240. Of course, he didn't play a lot of games for Memphis because of the suspension, right? So we didn't really see him play as much college ball as we would have wanted to. But the guy is 7'1" with a 7'6" wingspan. Yeah, so if this is perfect for the Hornets or looking for a big. Of course, the concerns, numbers-wise, 20 points, 11 rebounds in college in those very few games that he played, but then didn't also hit a three. So that's kind of the concern for Wiseman, like, because we didn't really see much of him. So are we assuming that he can't really stretch the floor? So we'll see. That we know already how the game is played, right? So he is very athletic, though. So we'll see if he can adjust and switch well on guards and be able to guard those quick perimeter players. Okay, and then of course the very interesting pick, the kid from Israel. They, according to Bill Simmons, right, he might be like the best prospect from Israel. 6'9", 215, Denny Avdija. Right? So if the mock draft will go, or if the draft goes the way it is on the mock draft, and Avdija will be going to the Bulls. So he's a wing. According to the scouting reports, nice handles. The shot is improving. And then the playmaking is really what makes him stand out. Of course, the Warriors have also said that they were blown away by Avdija. So we don't really know if are they just saying that, or are they really interested, or will they trade down? Okay, so right now the Bulls are gonna get Avdija at number 4. And then at number 5 we have Obi Toppin. Now, Toppin is an interesting prospect. He's 6'9", 220. He's a power forward. Played 2 years in college. He's coming from Dayton. Cleveland has drafted 2-point guards. Right? They've drafted 2-point guards in the past 2 drafts in Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, so they probably need to stop drafting point guards. And Toppin is, according to CBS, is a freakish athlete, a rim runner. So that will allow Sexton and Garland to have a lob target. And then what's good about Toppin, he also shot 39% from three. Some issues. He does have issues when it comes to the defensive end. But then the upside in becoming an all-around offensive weapon makes him really an appealing prospect at number 5. I'm kind of concerned also that he only averaged 7.5 boards in college, right? But let's see what Toppin will, or how Toppin will turn out. He is very athletic, right? And he fits perfectly to the way the game is played. And then at number 6, this pick goes to the Atlanta Hawks. And they are projected to select Tyrese Halliburton from Iowa State, the sophomore, 6'5", 175. He averaged 15 a game, 6 boards, and 6.5 assists. And take note, 42% from 3. So everything, he checks all the boxes that you need from a point guard. But of course, the question is, will you draft him in spite of having Trae Young? Right? So I think they're looking at the fact that he's 6'5", he's long, he's rangy, he's versatile, so he can play with Trae Young. You're looking at a defensive playmaker. Okay, and then a guy who can also hit the three, so can Trae Young doesn't have to initiate the offense all the time. And then a good thing because of Halliburton's size, and they can play together as well, right? So you have two playmakers who can shoot well and who can also facilitate well. Okay, so that's good for the Hawks. And then, of course, at number 7, number 7 sometimes is the surprise pick, right? Remember Steph Curry? He was a number 7 pick. In 99, Jason White Chocolate Williams was selected at number 7. So those guys turned out well. And at number 7, who's projected here is another top international prospect from this time from France, Killian Hayes. Okay, so again, according to Bill Simmons and The Ringer, if Avdija is like the best Israeli prospect to ever come out of Israel, Killian Hayes, according to The Ringer, is like the best prospect in this draft. They compared him to a potential James Harden-like player. Now, why does it make sense? The kid is only 19. He's 6'5". He's 192. That's, basically a pro body. He's been playing pro in Europe for a while now. He's regarded as one of the best guards in the draft. He's ranked number 2 overall among the point guards. So if you get him at number 7, and the fact that you're getting a kid who's 19 and who can be your franchise point guard, for many years to come, and he also has incredible star potential if let's say the Pistons become very patient with him and let him grow, let him make mistakes, then Killian Hayes. It's really interesting, especially with Derrick Rose. He came off a productive season, but then he is also entering the final year of his 2-year deal. So, there are also rumors that Rose might be traded. Killian Hayes will have a chance to grow, to develop, to learn the game. And what's really important is for him to feel that, the team trusts him. That was also the case for a guy named Tony Parker, right? The Spurs allowed him to grow at 19, and the guy won 4 championships. And am I correct? Was that four? No, he actually won only three championships. No, that includes the 2003. He was already part of that team. So yeah, four championships. I'm sorry, Tony Parker. And then here comes Killian Hayes. Am I saying that he's going to be a Tony Parker? He does have the potential to even be better. So I hope he gets into the right position. We all know what happened with Frank Ntilikina. He went to New York, and then Phil Jackson got fired. And yeah, I think the guy, it's all about the confidence as well, for these young prospects. And then, of course, at number 8, we have Patrick Williams from Florida State, a small forward, a wing player, a freshman, very young, 6'8", 225. The numbers are not going to blow you away. 9 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, shot only 32%. Of course, a perfect scenario for the Knicks if Killian Hayes or Tyler Halliburton goes to them. I think those are the guys that will really help New York. Patrick Williams is kind of your raw prospect. You like the fact that he's 6'8". The wingspan is incredible. But then, if we're talking about a guy who, if the Knicks are trying to make a splash, this isn't really the pick right here, right? So, of course, he has potential. But then, if the guy averaged 9 points and 4 rebounds in college, so it's not like you're expecting him to just average big time numbers in the NBA, right? So of course there will be the fact that obviously they have to develop him first. And I don't think that's really what the Knicks need, but he might be the best prospect available in terms of if those point guards do not fall at number 8, right? And then at number 9, we have the freshman from Southern California, Onyeka Okongwu, 6'9", 245. Very good numbers. First, he's projected to go to the Washington Wizards. 16 points, 8.6 rebounds, 1.1 assists. Shot only 25% from 3. Now, the reason why CBS wanted to, or why Kyle Boone was very high on Okongwu going to the Wizards is because he feels like he will fit perfectly with Bradley Beal and John Wall. Because of his length and his athleticism. So I don't know. That's what he really brings to the table is the fact that he has defensive versatility and he has an efficient offensive game. And then, of course, a lot of people are also talking about the freshman from Auburn, 6'6", 225, small forward, Ike Okoro. He did average 13 points, 4.4 rebounds, but only shot 28.6% from 3. Of course, the expectation for the Suns is that they will look to add another point guard to their roster so that they can pair him up with Devin Booker. But if Okoro is available at this time, number 9, he wouldn't be a bad pick at all. He's, at 225, 6'6", 225. He has a pro body. He can, he fits perfectly in today's game because of his versatility. He can play multiple positions. And then he can also complement guys like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. So let's see if Okoro ends up with the Suns, and then the teammate of James Wiseman, but he was the one who played a lot of games for them, for Penny Hardaway and Memphis, Precious Achua. So he's projected to go to the Spurs. He averaged a double-double, 16 points per game, 11 rebounds, shot 32.5% from 3. Okay, then he's a 6'9" physical prospect with like a 7'3" wingspan. Okay, he's what you expect from him is he will be a defender, a disruptor, can guard multiple positions as well. But of course the biggest thing here is if he goes to San Antonio, we know how San Antonio develops talent, and it would be a perfect place for him there. And then at number 12 for the Kings, they might end up with another guy from Florida State, the sophomore Devin Vassell, 6'7", 194, shot 41.5% from 3, averaged 13 points and 5 rebounds and 1.6 assists. Of course, the Kings need depth on the wing and also a general upgrade on its defensive end. So they can get a 3-and-D guy here in Devin Vassell. You like the length at 6'7". He's a knockdown three-point shooter. He defends well. So we all know how important it is to get these 3-and-D guys. So it will be a value pick at number 12 for the Sacramento Kings. And then at round 1, also with the 13th pick, the New Orleans Pelicans, who already have Zion Williamson, and they are expected to sign Brandon Ingram as well. People think that, or according to the mock draft by Kyle Boone, they will be taking Aaron Naismith. So the guy is a knockdown shooter, 52.2% from 3. He's arguably one of the best pure shooters in the class. The release is quick and it's smooth, and he shot 52.2% from 3 at Vanderbilt. So, of course, if the Pelicans draft Aaron Naismith, of course, they're looking at a guy who dropped 23 a game as a sophomore, 5 boards, shot 52.2%. Of course, are hoping that would translate into the next level. And then, of course, the last pick for the lottery, it will be the Boston Celtics, and they're expected to take the point guard from Alabama. Well, projected to take point guard from Alabama, Kira Lewis Jr., who had a solid stat line for Alabama as a sophomore. He's 6'3", 165. Of course, you might be thinking, well, Boston has a lot of wings, and its front court depth is, probably the one that needs also some. It's serviceable. So they can look towards, say, a post-Kemba Walker era by drafting this 19-year-old kid who averaged 18.5, 4.8 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and shot 36.6% from 3. Okay, he's lightning quick. He's improved the shot from his freshman year going to his sophomore year. He can still, of course, build his body. He's only 165. and he can perhaps be groomed as the eventual starting point guard for the Boston Celtics. Okay, so that's it for the mock draft. Kira Lewis Jr. ending up with the Boston Celtics. Now let's look at some potential, steals. Of course, I have to go with first. He's only projected to go number 7. But once upon a time, this guy was, the top prospect coming out of high school. I have 3 here. First is Cole Anthony from North Carolina. And he's actually just projected to go number 17. This is a major drop for Cole Anthony. He's now just the 18th ranked prospect, 5th point guard prospect. Guys like Halliburton, Killian Hayes, and even Kira Lewis has surpassed him. But he has Cole Anthony was one of those guys who, being the son of a former NBA player, he always had that inner confidence in him, and the guy scored. He averaged 18 and a half. It's just that he played on a North Carolina team that wasn't winning, and he did get injured, right? He did get injured. But I think his shot making, some people are comparing him to Austin Rivers. But I think he's a much better shooter than Austin Rivers was. Even though he only shot 35% from 3, but he did average 4 assists, 5.7 rebounds, and 18.5 points. Let's see if Cole Anthony can, prove to everyone that he was overlooked. Okay, and then, of course, another possible steal here is this guy. I'm looking at the freshman Jaden McDaniels. He was also one of the top high school players when he came out. He averaged, numbers were kind of pedestal at 13 points, 6 boards, 34% from 3. But, if he does end up, let's say, here, he's projected to go number 25 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Perfect place for him to develop. We saw what happened to those guys who, let's say, like the Lou Dorts, right, of the world. It would be perfect for him. Not a lot of expectations, if ever. He struggled in his freshman season, but he still has a lot of potential. And I think if he goes to the right team that will be patient in developing him, putting more weight into that 200-pound frame of his, he can, he can come out really as a top prospect. Okay. So there. And then another guy, lastly, that I think can surprise people is Cassius Stanley. He's from Duke. He didn't necessarily play well. He's projected to be a second round pick. He averaged 12.6, 4.9 rebounds, 36% from 3. But the guy is 6'6", 193, and he's freakishly athletic. So, of course, he can still wind. Okay, so before we go to our final segment, which is the shout out segment, I would like to add two more players who are potential sleepers of the draft. I have Nico Mannion. He's projected to go number 38. He's a point guard from Arizona. 6'3", 190. He was one of the highly touted high school players coming out in the class of 2019. High basketball IQ, can really facilitate well, make crisp passes and all of that. He averaged 14 points per game, 3.5 boards, and 5.3 assists. But I think scouts were kind of worried about the fact that he only shot 32.7% from three. And then, of course, another guy that I think can be a sleeper and teams kind of like overlook is this guy from Duke. Another guy from Duke, Vernon Carey Jr. The guy averaged 17.8 points, 8.8 rebounds, shot 38.1%. We all know at times how Duke players get overlooked, but the guy is 6'10", 270, maybe a little. Can, of course, the ideal thing for him is to maybe lose some weight, but then it doesn't matter. The guy is still athletic, and more than anything else, he's a physical interior presence who can really rebound and knock down the threes. He's only projected to go number 43 to the Sacramento Kings. Okay, now it's time for us to go to our shout-outs. This is now the shout-outs segment. So again, I've been doing shout-outs for the people who've liked the Facebook page. Again, I'm encouraging everyone to like our Facebook page, Dropping Dimes by J.I. Dimes. There, and what else? There again. They've been posting a lot, and thank you for those who have liked the page. From, I think, the recent people who have liked the page. A good friend of mine, a top, a great basketball player in his own right, Sir Chet Ferrer, thank you for liking and supporting the Dropping Dimes podcast. And then, of course, the people, it's now time to give some shout outs and love to the people who have followed us on Instagram. Okay, thank you. We don't have a lot of followers yet, but there are people who have been very supportive. Many thanks to, of course, a special shout out to Daniel Miles. This guy, he's also a Lakers fan, a big Lakers fan. Thank you, Daniel Miles. Please follow him on Instagram as well at best_life16. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, mate, for supporting the podcast. Of course, another major supporter. Thank you as well to City Clothing. I hope you can visit their Facebook page or their Instagram page, right? It's a lifestyle brand. They have a lot of really nice products as well. And then another one would be Shine Sport 2. Shine Sport 2. If you want high quality jerseys, basketball jerseys, football jerseys, or just sports apparel, Shine Sports, Shine Sport 2. You can follow their Instagram page as well. Thank you for the support. These guys are real, man. They're just they just do it. They support other YouTube and Instagram creators. So I'm very thankful to these guys. And then, of course, those who are following our YouTube channel, many thanks as well. Let's give some special shout outs to these people before we go to Twitter. So again, you can also follow us on YouTube. Just search Dropping Dimes Podcast. And then you can see there already Dropping Dimes Podcast by J.I. Dimes. We don't have a lot of subscribers yet, so I hope you can subscribe and hit on the notification bell. Okay, so that we'll be able to spread more love to more people as well. So thank you also to the people who have subscribed and hit on the notification bell on YouTube. And then, of course, the people on Twitter. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our username on Twitter is at dimes_by. Yes, that's at dimes_by. So that's the Dropping Dimes Podcast by J.I. Dimes. I'll just shout out some of the followers that we have. A lot of really good people here on Twitter as well. Just, supporting the podcast. Of course, many thanks to everyone who have, retweeted, our tweet on trying to help the people from Catanduanes so that they can be heard. So thank you to all of those people who have retweeted and liked that post. And then, of course, our followers on Twitter. Let's just mention some of them. Okay, so there we go. Let's thank you to Lord, to the okay, it's Brandon 70. Thank you. Isaiah. We also have Surge, please resign. Then Chase. Then we also have Bible. A.G. Lerascas. Nathan Levinson. Eric Davis. Jordan 12. Matt at Prime Windy City. Malik 2. Dime Season. Then we also have Stefan Diggs and Trust the Process. So thank you to, these are just some of those, some of our followers on Twitter. Thank you as well for supporting the podcast. Okay, so that's it for our episode. Again, you can catch the episode on Anchor, Spotify, YouTube. Again, we also have our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and Instagram page. So I hope you can continue supporting it. Again, many thanks to our sponsors, Snuggle Moments PH, the Snuggle Trio, also Yo and Yes. And many thanks also to Vago T-shirt Printing Manila for just being the best. So again, I'll see you all on the next episode. This is the Dropping Dimes podcast.